Your 30s are when life finally stops giving you hints and starts handing you bills. One moment you're celebrating your first real paycheck, the kind that finally makes you feel like an adult. And the next, you're staring at a mortgage application, wondering how on earth anyone actually affords to be an adult. It's the decade when your money is pulled in 17 different directions. Rent or a down payment, kids or retirement, savings or sanity. It feels like your entire bank account has turned into a financial piñata and everyone's taking a swing at it. You're trying to build a life, not just survive one. The pressure hits harder because in your 30s, the world expects you to have everything figured out. Career, marriage, house, savings, retirement, as if adulthood comes with a manual. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. In your 20s, people tell you to figure yourself out. In your 30s, you realize you were supposed to have already done that. And now every financial decision you make could either secure your future or sabotage it. This is where most people either build the foundation for lifelong financial freedom or spend the next 3 decades trying to catch up. You're watching Mike Compound, where we make money make sense, breaking down real strategies to help you grow wealth without losing your mind. If you're ready to finally take control of your money, not just earn it, but use it to build something that lasts, hit that subscribe button, because today we're going to talk about the major money milestones to accomplish in your 30s. But before we dive in, let's make something clear. This isn't about making you feel guilty for where you are right now. Maybe you're already crushing some of these goals, or maybe you're just trying to keep your bank account from flatlining before payday. Either way, this isn't a judgment, it's a roadmap. Because the truth is, your 30s aren't about perfection, they're about direction. Milestone number 1, eliminate every ounce of consumer debt. Let's start with the big one, and the hardest one for most people. Your first major milestone in your 30s is simple in theory but life-changing in practice. Eliminate every single piece of consumer debt. And yes, I mean every single one. Credit cards, student loans, car loans, personal loans, that old financing deal for a couch you bought 3 years ago. Everything. Gone. The only exception? Your mortgage. Assuming you have one. That's it. The rest has to go. And I know what you're thinking. Mike, that sounds impossible. My student loans alone could fund a small nation's budget. I get it. But here's the thing. Your 30s are your prime earning decade. You're likely making more money now than you ever have before. And that trend will probably continue. The worst thing you can do right now is drag that higher income through the mud of consumer debt. Debt is financial quicksand. It doesn't just slow you down, it silently swallows every dollar you earn before it can work for you. Think about it like this. If you're paying $400 a month toward credit cards and another $600 toward your car loan, that's $1,000 every single month going out the door. Over a year, that's $12,000. Over a decade, that's $120,000. Gone. And that doesn't even include what it could have grown into if you'd invested it. That's the cost of debt. Not just what you owe, but what you lose by not being free. Your 30s are already complicated enough. Promotions, marriage, kids, maybe even aging parents who need your help. Life throws responsibilities at you like a pitching machine stuck on overdrive. Carrying debt through all of that, it's like juggling flaming torches while riding a unicycle. Technically possible, but definitely not wise. I learned this lesson the hard way. When my dad started needing more help around the house, I realized how much flexibility financial freedom really gives you. He's the kind of man who thinks a plunger and determination can solve any problem. Last year, our kitchen sink clogged, and after 2 hours of his engineering, it looked like a geyser from Yellowstone. Luckily, I wasn't buried under loan payments. I had the flexibility to just call a plumber and get it fixed. If I hadn't, we'd probably still be there, staring at a broken pipe and a flooded floor. That's what debt takes from you. Not just money, but freedom to act when life happens. Getting to zero debt isn't about perfection or pride. It's about peace. It's the difference between waking up stressed every morning and sleeping at night, knowing every dollar you earn is finally working for you, not your creditors. And here's the mindset shift that changes everything. When you pay off debt, you're not just getting rid of what you owe, you're buying back your future. Every payment that used to go towards someone else's pocket becomes fuel for your investments, your savings, your freedom. So if you're in your 30s and still carrying debt, don't panic. But also, don't delay. Start with a simple plan. List every debt, smallest to largest, and attack them with intensity. Make progress visible. Every account you close, every card you cut up, every paid-in-full email you get, that's another weight lifted off your shoulders. Because here's the truth. The people who build wealth in their 30s aren't necessarily the ones making the most money. They're the ones who stop giving it away. You've cleared the first battlefield, debt. Now it's time to protect the ground you've gained and start building something that lasts. Because here's the thing. Financial freedom isn't built in one big move. It's built in layers, each one supporting the next. And your next layer starts with something most people ignore until it's too late. Milestone number 2, achieve an excellent credit score and keep it there. Let's talk about your credit score, the invisible number that quietly controls so much of your financial life. You might think, well, I'm not planning to borrow money anytime soon, so who cares? But unless you plan to buy your next home in cash, your credit score matters a lot. Here's why. Let's say you're buying a $400,000 house, not a mansion, just a decent home in today's market. With an excellent credit score, say around 810, you could qualify for a 6.5% mortgage rate. Over 30 years, that's about $511 in interest. Painful, yeah, but manageable. Now, if your credit score drops just a bit, say you're at 740 instead of 810, that interest rate might jump to 7%. That tiny 0.5% difference doesn't sound like much until you do the math. It means paying roughly $47,000 more for the exact same house. Same home, same neighborhood, just a higher price tag because of one number. That's why an excellent credit score isn't a luxury, it's leverage. But here's the kicker. One single late payment can wreck years of progress. According to LendingTree, a payment that's 30 days late can drop your score by as much as 180 points. That's the difference between a smooth loan approval and a financial nightmare that follows you for 7 years. So how do you protect yourself? Simple habits done consistently. Pay every bill on time every single month. Keep your credit utilization below 30, ideally under 10%. Don't open new accounts unless you truly need them. And don't close old cards unless the fees are ridiculous. Your credit history's length is part of your score, so that old card from college, keep it open. It's not just nostalgia, it's strategy. In your 30s, an excellent credit score isn't just about getting cheaper loans. It's about building trust with lenders, landlords, and sometimes even employers. It's about proving that you can handle opportunity when it comes knocking. Milestone number 3, create a 30-year financial roadmap. Let's be honest. Financial planning sounds about as fun as a dentist appointment without anesthesia. But here's the truth. Without a plan, you're not managing money. You're reacting to it. In your 30s, life stops being linear. You're juggling multiple priorities. Saving for a home, raising kids, paying taxes, investing for retirement. If you don't have a map, you'll end up spinning in circles. That's why I like to break it down using what I call BREAT. B stands for budgeting and saving. Know exactly how much you earn, how much you spend, and where your money should go to reach your goals. R is for retirement planning, not just contributing to your 401k, but actually checking if you're on track for the life you want. E is estate planning. Yes, even if you're young. If you have kids or assets, this isn't optional anymore. The first T is tax planning, using every legal advantage to keep more of your hard-earned money. And the last T is tracking progress, because a plan you don't review is just a wish list. If you're managing multiple income streams, assets, or family responsibilities, this might be the time to get professional help. A certified financial planner can help align all the moving parts, not to control your money, but to give it direction. Think of it this way. You wouldn't build a house without blueprints. Why would you build wealth without one? A 30-year plan isn't about predicting the future. It's about preparing for it. Milestone number 4, build a bulletproof emergency fund. If your 20s were about learning how to stay afloat, your 30s are about making sure the boat doesn't sink. And that starts with one of the least exciting but most powerful tools in your financial arsenal, an emergency fund. In your 20s, people told you to save 3 to 6 months of expenses. In your 30s, double it. Aim for 6 to 12 months, more if you're self-employed or your income isn't stable. Because here's the truth. Your 30s bring more moving parts. Homes, kids, health, aging parents. Life doesn't just happen anymore, it piles up. The water heater dies the week your car breaks down. Your kid needs emergency dental work. Your parents suddenly need help with hospital bills. Without a solid emergency fund, those moments become crises. With one, they're just inconveniences. And sometimes, an emergency can be a good thing. like a rare investment opportunity or a once-in-a-lifetime career move that requires quick action. When you have cash ready, you can make bold decisions without fear. That's what separates people who move forward from those who freeze when life throws a curveball. Your emergency fund isn't about profit, it's about power. It gives you the confidence to take risks, to negotiate better, to sleep better. You know that no matter what happens tomorrow, your world won't collapse. The best place to keep it? A high-yield savings account, one that earns you decent interest but stays easily accessible. You're not trying to get rich off this money. You're trying to protect what makes you rich, your peace of mind. Because when everything around you gets unpredictable, career, economy, life, that quiet security in your account is what lets you keep breathing easily. Your 30s are the decade where control replaces chaos. You've paid off your debts, you've built your credit, you've mapped out your future, and you've created a safety net that gives you room to breathe. You're not just surviving anymore, you're preparing to build. And in the next part, we'll talk about how to turn that foundation into real wealth. How to use this decade not just to stabilize, but to grow. You've laid the groundwork. No more consumer debt, solid credit, a real plan, and an emergency fund that keeps life's surprises from breaking you. Now it's time to think bigger. Because once you stop fighting financial fires, you can finally start building something worth protecting. Milestone number 5. Have 3 times your annual salary saved for retirement by 40. This one can sound intimidating, and for many, even discouraging. But let's reframe it. Your goal by age 40 should be to have saved about 3 times your annual salary for retirement. If the average 40-year-old in the U.S. earns around $62,000 a year, that means roughly $186,000 saved by the time you hit that milestone. Now, before panic sets in, let's put that in perspective. If you start with that amount at 40 and continue saving consistently, most retirement calculators show you could reach over $2 million by 67. That's not fantasy. That's the magic of compound interest doing its quiet, consistent work. And that's really what this milestone is about. Not just the money itself, but time. Every year you delay, compound growth loses its power. Every year you start early, it multiplies in your favor. Think of your 30s as the decade where you stop saying someday and start saying now. Because compound interest doesn't reward intention, it rewards action. If you're behind, don't despair. You still have 2 to 3 decades to build. But this is the decade to get serious. Start increasing your contributions every time your income rises. Every raise, every bonus, every new job. Even a small bump makes a huge difference. The difference between saving 10% and 15% of your income might not feel like much right now. But over 25 years, that's the difference between retiring comfortably or working until you're 75 because you didn't. Retirement isn't about age, it's about options. And your 30s are when you buy yourself the freedom to choose how that story ends. Milestone number 6, build lifestyle inflation immunity. This one separates the real wealth builders from everyone else. Your 30s are the golden age of lifestyle creep, the silent killer of financial progress. You get a raise and suddenly that old apartment feels too small. You land a promotion and that 5-year-old car now feels too basic. Your income goes up, but somehow your bank balance stays the same, because every new dollar earns a new way to disappear. I know people in their 30s making 6 figures who still live paycheck to paycheck. They drive 70,000 cars, eat out every night, and live in apartments that cost more than most people's annual salaries. Lifestyle inflation is seductive because it disguises itself as reward. You work hard, so you deserve it. But every time you let spending grow with income, you steal from your future self. The version of you that could be free. They look successful, but they're one job loss away from panic. The cure isn't deprivation, it's automation. Every time your income rises, automatically direct at least half of that increase into savings or investments. Before your brain even has time to dream up new ways to spend it, move that money where it'll grow. Got a $5,000 raise? Great. Increase your 401k or IRA contributions by 20%. You'll never miss money you never touched, and your future self will thank you for it. Lifestyle inflation immunity doesn't mean you can't enjoy your success. It means you're smart enough to enjoy it strategically, without turning every financial victory into another expense. Because wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep. Milestone number 7, get your estate planning done. Yes, now. No one likes talking about this part. It feels morbid, unnecessary, like something only the elderly or ultra-wealthy worry about. But in your 30s, if you have kids, a mortgage, or assets of any kind, estate planning is no longer optional. And it's not about death. It's about protecting the people you love if something happens to you. Ask yourself, if you were in an accident and couldn't make decisions, who would handle your finances? Who would care for your children if both you and your spouse couldn't? Who would inherit your home, your accounts, your insurance, your investments? If you don't have the answers written down, the government will find them for you. And you probably won't like how they decide. That's why you need basic estate documents, a will, a healthcare directive, a financial power of attorney. And here's the good news. It's not as complicated or expensive as most people think. There are affordable online services that can help you set up the basics in hours. If your finances are more complex or your family situation could inspire a soap opera, sure, bring in an attorney. But doing something is infinitely better than doing nothing. Think of estate planning as one of the most loving things you can do. It's not about you. It's about peace for the people you'd leave behind. Because true wealth isn't just what you build, it's what you protect. Your 30s are the decade where you stop playing defense and start playing strategy. You're no longer patching holes, you're building structure. You've built the habits, the systems, the mindset, and now you're learning to protect it. To make sure all the effort you've poured into building a strong financial base doesn't get undone by a single moment of chaos or neglect. In the next part, we'll close this journey with the final 3 milestones. The ones that don't just define your wealth, but the quality of your life, your health, your children's future, and your confidence in every financial decision you make. You've learned how to pay off debt, build credit, plan for the future, save for emergencies, and grow wealth. But the final stretch of your 30s isn't just about numbers. It's about protecting the most valuable assets you'll ever own, your health, your family's future, and your peace of mind. Because money can buy comfort, but it can't buy stability. Stability comes from preparation. Milestone number 8, invest in your health, your real retirement account. Here's a truth most financial experts don't emphasize enough. Your health is your greatest financial asset. You can recover from debt, a market crash, even a job loss. But if your health collapses, everything else follows. Think about it. The average American spends over $3,000 on healthcare over their lifetime. If you could reduce that by just 20% through preventive care, better nutrition, regular exercise, and managing stress, you'd save around $60,000. That's the cost of a brand new luxury car or an early start on your kid's college fund. And those are just the visible savings. What you can't measure is the lost income from burnout, the missed opportunities because you were too exhausted to take them, or the time stolen by poor habits that finally caught up. Your 30s are when your body starts quietly taking notes. The late-night fast food runs, the skipped workouts, the all-nighters. They were fine in your 20s. Now, they collect interest. One day, you'll wake up and realize your metabolism has gone into early retirement while you're still working full-time. But this isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Taking care of yourself now isn't a luxury. It's a long-term investment with compounding returns. You don't have to become a fitness influencer or eat nothing but kale. Just build sustainable habits. Move regularly. Eat like you respect your body. Sleep enough. Manage stress before it manages you. Because no investment portfolio beats the return of good health. You can't enjoy financial freedom if your body is a prison. So go ahead. Schedule that checkup. Take that walk. Cook more meals at home. The ROI will show up in more ways than you can count. Milestone number 9. Start planning for your children's education. If you're a parent, or plan to be, this milestone is non-negotiable. College costs have risen at twice the rate of inflation for the past 30 years. Today, a 4-year degree at a public university can cost over $40,000 per year, and private schools can hit $70,000 or more. That's not a tuition bill. That's a mortgage with textbooks. But here's the key. You don't have to fund it all. You just have to start early. Even saving $50 or $100 a month in a 529 education plan can grow into something meaningful over 15 to 18 years. These accounts offer tax advantages and in many states, even tax deductions. The money grows tax-free, and when used for education expenses, you don't pay taxes when you withdraw it. That's free compound growth, something no regular savings account can offer. And the flexibility is better than ever. If your child doesn't need all the funds, you can transfer them to another child, use them for your own education, or even roll some of it into a Roth IRA under new rules. It's about choice and setting up your kids so they start adulthood a few steps ahead, not behind a mountain of student debt. But there's a deeper message here. You're not just saving for their tuition, you're teaching them by example. When your children see you plan ahead, invest wisely, and talk openly about money, you're not just funding their education, you're modeling it. Because financial literacy starts at home, not in a classroom. Milestone number 10. Develop financial confidence. The final milestone is the one that ties everything together. Financial confidence. This isn't about having a specific net worth or a certain number in your bank account. It's about knowing deep down that you can handle whatever comes your way, good or bad. Financial confidence is built, not born. It comes from understanding your numbers, having systems that work, and trusting yourself to make sound decisions. It's the difference between lying awake at 3 a.m., stressing about bills, and sleeping peacefully because you know you're prepared. It doesn't mean you'll never make mistakes. It means when you do, you'll know how to recover. Confidence is knowing you're in control, not because life is predictable, but because you are intentional. This is where all these pieces come together. Your emergency fund, your retirement savings, your insurance, your estate planning, your kids' education, your health. They form one ecosystem, your personal financial engine. And when it runs smoothly, you stop reacting to life and start designing it. Some people love managing every detail themselves. Others prefer working with financial planners to keep them on track. Both approaches work, as long as you have a plan you believe in and a system that keeps evolving with you. Because here's the truth, financial confidence doesn't come from having everything perfect. It comes from knowing you're moving forward, even when things aren't. The big picture. Your 30s are your financial prime time. You're earning more than ever, but you're also carrying more responsibility than you ever imagined. The decisions you make now, how you spend, save, invest, and plan, will define whether your 50s are a celebration of freedom or a decade of regret. These 10 milestones aren't meant to overwhelm you. They're meant to empower you, to give you a map, not a measuring stick. Because it's never too late to start moving in the right direction. Maybe you're ahead on some, behind on others. That's fine. The point is to start, and then to keep going. Your 30s don't have to be a financial survival story. They can be the chapter where everything changes. The moment you stop wondering if you'll ever get ahead and start realizing that you already can. So pick one milestone. Start today. Maybe it's paying off that last debt, opening a high-yield savings account, or scheduling your next health checkup. It doesn't matter where you start. It matters that you do. Because just like compound interest, progress compounds too. Small, consistent actions build unstoppable momentum. And one day, you'll look back and realize that everything you dreamed about in your 30s started with a single decision to take control. This is Mike Compound, where we make finance simple, powerful, and personal. If this video helped you get closer to your goals, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this today. Because your financial future doesn't start someday, it starts now.